Hello everyone, welcome back to the Snowball Orchard. Today I have a really fun video that I've been looking forward to making for quite a while now, and it's going to sort of double as a 100 subscriber special. So thank you all so much for all of the support that the channel's been getting recently. It really means a lot. As of when I'm recording this, we're already at like 120. We just shot past 100, so thank you all so much for all of the generosity recently. For this video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite series that did not originate as video games. I'm making that specific distinction because Sonic would be number 1, Pokemon would be somewhere in my top 5. And since I already have a gaming channel, link in the description down below, I sort of want to keep this channel, for the most part at the very least, to focus on other series. I say for the most part because Sonic IDW comic dubs will continue to be a thing. But I say top 10, this is actually going to be top 11, as there are two series that sort of tie for the number 10 spot, and I really didn't want to drop anything from this list. I want to talk about all 11 series that are on this list, so buckle up for the ride. If you have been enjoying the content recently, make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button. Really helps the channel out, and I would greatly appreciate it. Of course, minor spoiler warning, I will be talking a little bit about spoilers for each of these, as it makes sense. I'll be sort of giving a brief review of each one. You can expect more full-length review videos on each and every one of these series over time in the future. Definitely something I want to do more of. But let's kick off the list, shall we? Alright, in the number 10 spot, we have both Murder Drones and Other Side Picnic. Let's start off with Murder Drones, shall we? Murder Drones? Most of you probably already know a fair amount about Murder Drones, as I have made a few Murder Drones related videos on the channel, and also I make a lot of Digital Circus content, and they are published by the same indie animation company, Glitch. Murder Drones is a sort of futuristic horror comedy focusing on the worker drone Uzi and the disassembly drones N and V. Pretty much humans made worker drones to, well, work. A program, an evil program, infected one of the drones, turned her into an eldritch monster, blew up the humans, and now is trying to blow up all of the worker drones, just trying to live peacefully, because a few of the worker drones also have that same virus that infected the one back on Earth. Oh yeah, we're not on Earth. We're on a really snowy planet called Copper 9. It's really snowy because, a null command, which is pretty much something that this evil program can create black holes with, blew up the core of the planet. It's fun. All around, I absolutely love this series musically, aesthetically. I think it's super cool. All of the voice acting is super strong, and the character design is very fun and whimsical in a way. The horror, most of the time, doesn't feel like it's too overdone, and the times where it does feel overdone, it feels like that's what it was trying to do specifically. So, even in the times when the horror is, in quotation marks, overdone, it never feels forced. It just feels like just how it was supposed to go. There's also a lot of self-awareness that this series has with some of the jokes, and I personally find it to be really funny. There is a reason why this series is not significantly higher on the list, though, and that has to do with the pacing of the plot. While the plot is very interesting, it also feels a little bit scattered and very rushed, especially towards the end. Personally, in terms of the plot, I feel like the finale episode is the biggest letdown that the series ever had, which is disappointing because the animation and music and voice acting are all top-notch. The animation is stunning, but the plot just feels like it fell flat towards the end, which is really disappointing because up through the first 7 episodes, the plot was really good. Granted, the plot is set up in a way that really encourages rewatches. So if that's not your thing, it might be a little bit tricky for this series to grab you quite the way that it did with me. But all things considered, I still absolutely adore Murder Drones, even despite its flaws, because its strengths are just so charming and so entertaining. And now for that other series in the number 10 spot, Other Side Picnic. I am going to say this is specifically the Other Side Picnic anime. I have not read the manga or the novels. I've heard that the manga and novels are both better than the anime, which honestly has me really excited to check them out at some point because I personally really enjoyed the anime. I will say, Other Side Picnic has definitely the weakest start out of every series on this list, as it really took a few episodes to grab hold of me. The first 3 episodes just felt much too slow-paced for me, and I probably would have dropped the series if I wasn't watching it with my sister at the time. That being said, I am so glad that I didn't drop it, because from episode 4 onward to the end of the current season, I adored every second. The plot follows 2 college-age women named Sorao and Toriko as they investigate a sort of alternate dimension, another world that they call the Other Side. And the Other Side is full of scary monsters, strange magical powers. It's really quite interesting, and they both accidentally sort of get, I don't know if the right word's corrupted, but they gain effectively a special power that they can use in the Other Side to help them across their journey to find Toriko's long-lost friend, I think you could say. As the series goes on, their friendship definitely starts blossoming further and further, if you catch my drift, and they're both impressively dense. But honestly, that makes it so much funnier to watch. These characters are so lovable in their own charming ways, and the world is really interesting and unique, and it has me super excited to see if we get a season 2 of the anime, what that has in store, but also to check out the manga and novels. I feel like I did not do this series justice sort of describing it. I absolutely adore this series. It is so, so cool. Number 9. I think anyone who is a fan of this channel probably saw this series coming from an absolute mile away. The Amazing Digital Circus. It might be a little bit lower on the list than some people might have expected, as I have made probably close to half of the content on this channel, Amazing Digital Circus. But I feel like it's hard to sort of evaluate it compared to other series currently, as there are only 4 episodes. That being said, those 4 episodes are all really solid. So the main character, Pomni, sort of gets trapped in this digital world with other humans who are no longer really human. They're all fancy little characters. And they have to go on adventures because Kane, the evil AI, is trying to help keep their minds stimulated, but sometimes doesn't really know the best way to go about doing these things. Pomni is, as you could imagine, being thrown into a situation like this, very distraught for a little while about not being able to leave, not being able to remember her real name. But she slowly and surely starts becoming friends with the rest of the circus members, minus Jax, I think. Jax is kind of a jerk, so he has it coming. Anyway, the adventures get just wacky and whimsical right off the bat. The character interactions so far have been so good, and the voice acting, unreal. It feels like every episode, Pomni has a heart-to-heart scene with some character. In the first one, it was, kind of Ragatha. but also there wasn't one of those scenes like quite as heavily. Episode 2, it was Gummigoo. Episode 3, it was Kinger. Episode 4, it was Gangle. Episode 5 and 6 will probably be Ragatha and Jax, given what the creator Gooseworks has said. And I honestly am looking so forward to the rest of this series. If, when this show is finished, if it goes up on this list at all, I will not be surprised in the slightest, as it has a very powerful start. It has so much creative momentum going into the back half of the show, and I cannot wait to see what else this show has in store. Number 8, Astra Lost in Space. Astra Lost in Space is a manga and anime that is sort of science fiction, comedy, murder mystery plot with high schoolers. It's honestly really something else. This has become one of like my comfort series, as I always feel like when I'm going through a rough time, this is one of the series that I always find myself gravitating back towards to just sort of put myself at ease. The plot follows 8 high school students and a 10-year-old on a high school field trip to another planet. They live on the planet Astra. They fly a few light years over to the planet Mikpai, I believe is the one that they are supposed to be going on the trip to. It's been a bit since I've read the like early portion of the story. I think I'm getting my lore right though. Anyway, that part's not important. What is important, they find themselves warped over 5,000 light years away from home. They find an abandoned spaceship just sort of floating above the planet that they find themselves floating above. Fortunately, they still had their spacesuits on, so that way they didn't immediately die of suffocation upon getting thrown into space. How they got warped 5,000 light years away, how they get home, the dynamics that they bring, I'm not going to spoil any of that because each moment of this series just feels so special and so whimsical, and I love every single moment. Also, the music in the anime is really, really nice, and there's also some pretty good voice acting in especially the crucial scenes. So definitely worthy of a spot on this list. Number 7, Demon Slayer. This is a series I am shocked did not make it into the top half. That's how good the rest of this list is. Demon Slayer is an action / shonen manga and anime following the Kamado siblings, Tanjiro Kamado and Nezuko Kamado. Their family almost instantly gets massacred by an evil demon, and Nezuko gets turned herself into a demon. However, Tanjiro's kindness and care for her makes her almost immediately just completely suppress the desire the demonic desire to feast on humans, and instead decides that to sort of heal herself and sustain herself, she's gonna just sleep a lot longer, which is really funny. But Tanjiro is dead set on changing his sister back into a human, and he becomes a demon slayer to try to hunt down pretty much the king of the demons, who is also the one responsible for murdering his family, Muzan Kibutsuji. Muzan is one of the most frightening and somehow coolest villains in anime. Literally, the season 4 finale starts with like a 3-minute long sequence of Muzan just walking, and it is hype as hell. That is how good and how competent the animators were. Literally, I would not put it past this show to say this has some of the best, if not the best, animation I have seen in a show ever. The animation is out of this world. The voice acting is hilarious, and also just really high quality. In addition to the plot being really captivating, and a couple sort of common anime tropes actually feeling really abnormally good. There are a few anime tropes that I personally just do not really vibe with too much, but Demon Slayer just puts a spin on those that is so much more fun and entertaining in my eyes personally. It's fantastic. And why is it only in the 7th spot? Well, you'll just have to tune into the rest of the list to find out. If you are enjoying the video, then make sure, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button and turn that notification bell on so that way you never miss another Snowball Orchard video. Plus, it would just really help me out and I would greatly appreciate it. But now, back to the list. Number 6, The Witch and the Beast. This is a series that is unreal how good it is. The Witch and the Beast follows a mage named Ashav and a young woman named Guido. However, Guido is in a bit of an interesting predicament. She is not in her body. She got cursed by a witch and is now in a significantly weaker body than her real one, and she wants to get her body back. Ashav, I'm gonna be real, I don't know what this guy's angle is. He is so mysterious and so intriguing and absolutely hilarious. On top of being really powerful, he knows how to undo witches' curses, and he's taught Guido a third method, because there are normally two. There's a third, however temporary one, that Guido uses to her advantage a number of times throughout the series to, for a brief few moments, have her original body back for some pretty difficult fights where she needs it, as her body is that of, I don't even know what she is, but she's some sort of entity that has the power to literally destroy the world if she wanted to. She's just that strong under normal circumstances. That being said, she's still incredibly powerful even in her new body that she's trapped in. Not a slouch in combat, one of the most formidable foes throughout the series, and just becomes outrageously powerful if she can get her hands on that third method, or if she can achieve one of the two permanent methods. Where this series is going, I have no idea. Tragically, the manga, and in turn, I'm going to assume the anime as well, are on sort of an indefinite hiatus due to the author dealing with some health problems. So I personally hope that they are able to make a speedy recovery and get back to creating such a wonderful story, because I know personally what it's like having to put projects and stories on hold that you're super passionate about due to health. And I really hope that for this author that can be resolved soon, so that way they can get back to making this series, because you can tell there is so much passion put into it from the creators, and I cannot wait to see where this story goes. Number 5, Mayonaka Punch. This is a series that when I heard the name, I thought there's no way this is gonna be good. There's no way that this is gonna be something that I like. This is gonna be super goofy. Oh boy, it is super goofy, but in the best possible way, and it blew me away. Mayonaka Punch follows a band of 4 vampires, Liv, Tokage, Fu, and Ichiko, as well as a cancelled YouTuber named Masaki, in their journey to create YouTube videos and reach 1 million subscribers. It's definitely interesting, to say the least. Masaki's motivation is she's always wanted to hit 1 million subscribers as a YouTuber, and she recently got kicked out of her sort of channel friend group because she punched one of them, and there's a huge scandal, and that's also where the punch in their channel name, Mayonaka Punch, comes from. It's absolutely gold. Liv's motivation is she wants to suck Masaki's blood. That's literally it. And she is very quickly head over heels for Masaki. Absolutely brilliant interactions between the whole cast. Sort of anti-hero character, I guess you could say, Yuki, is honestly fills a sort of anime trope role that I usually just don't really care for, but she very quickly sort of spun a new perspective on that sort of character role that I now have a much deeper appreciation for because of this character. Their whole reaching 1 million subscribers goal has to be put on the fast track, as the shenanigans of the 4 vampires have another vampire known as Mother very fed up with them, but she is willing to give them a chance. If they can reach 1 million subscribers in 6 months, then she won't demolish their mansion. I know that everything I just said sounds absolutely ridiculous. That's the point, and it is awesome every single second. I love this series to pieces. I really hope that we get a season 2, but that being said, if we only get 1 season, they managed to make that finale so good, not only just in terms of the content, but it would work as either a season finale or a series finale. So they left their options open in just an absolutely brilliant storytelling way. One of the best animes I have ever seen, and I could not recommend this one enough. Number 4, Laid Back Camp. There's a lot of anime on this list. Anime is just really good, what can I say? Laid Back Camp is just about the biggest slice of life anime you could get. Follows 5 high school girls who love to go around camping various places throughout Japan, and just, it's so serene and peaceful. The vibes are unmatched. The music is soothing. The atmosphere is just so relaxing. The background artists absolutely locked the fudge in. I have genuinely never seen background art in a show ever look as good and as beautiful as it does in Laid Back Camp. On top of just the plot being very comfy cozy, as well as the atmosphere of the visuals and the music, you can tell how much fun and passion the voice actors had, at the very least in the English dub. I haven't seen the Japanese dub, but I would assume that it's the same way in the Japanese dub as it is in the English dub. These VAs, they had an absolute blast. You can tell from the delivery of so many lines. It is, I feel like honestly so much of the series' comedy comes from various line deliveries. Sure, the writing gave them plenty of opportunities to be very, very silly, but also I feel like there's just more than just the writing. Like, you can feel the passion that the VAs had for these characters. It is just absolutely amazing. This is a show that I could watch just constantly on end anytime I felt like I needed to just sit back, chill, relax, and just get lost in another world, as it is just so comforting every step of the way. Oh, we're here. We're here at the top 3. This list was tough to order because so many of these series on here are so good. And in the number 3 spot is Bocchi the Rock. I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea what to expect from this series when I first started watching it, as I'd seen fan art from it quite a bit, but most of it was honestly just shipping art with a few of the main characters, and honestly the vibes of those were absolutely adorable, so I was very intrigued. Music. So, I myself am a musician. I have not done as much with composing and releasing my own tracks as I would have liked at this point. Hopefully that'll change very soon. But this anime is all about music. The main character, Hitori Goto, aka Bochi, is an extraordinarily shy high school girl who is an absolute master of the guitar. She's very quickly roped into forming a cute little band with a couple other high schoolers, Nijika and Ryo, called Kisoku Band. Very quickly after forming, they get a fourth member, a second guitarist and singer, Kita. As the series goes on, Bochi keeps finding herself in more and more situations where she really wants to break out of her shell, even though it's very scary for her as she has an absolute boatload of social anxiety. She wants to be popular, which, I mean, she's a high school student, who doesn't? And she wants to sort of do something special with her guitar skills and her music with her new friends. As the series goes on, their friendships just keep becoming brighter, stronger, and so adorable to watch. And the music that they keep playing throughout the series, they create their own songs. And honestly, whenever I'm in the car, one of my favorite things to listen to is Kisoku Band, as there's a Kisoku Band album and two EPs, that have been released as like sort of tie-ins with this series. And it's got the songs that they play in the anime, and it's so cool, and I could geek out about it for hours. This anime, literally, is the one anime I have ever seen where I genuinely can say I would not change a thing. That's how good Bocchi the Rock is. It is just unbelievable how good, how adorable, how artistic it is. It's not just is there so much amazing music, the animation is also super unique and really, really fun to watch. I could not recommend Bocchi the Rock enough. Like, there's no amount of recommending that series that would ever do it justice. That is how good I think Bocchi the Rock is. And yet, it was only in the 3 spots, so what could these final 2 be? Well, you should hit the subscribe button and like to find out. I mean, you'll find out anyway if you just keep watching, but, you know, hitting those buttons would really help me out, and I'd appreciate it. It would help the channel. Thanks. Anyway, number 2, The Owl House. I have mentioned a couple of times on the channel that I am a huge fan of The Owl House. So, yeah, it's in the number 2 spot. It is really, really good. Story follows Luz Noceda, a sort of quirky little human high school girl who doesn't really fit in with society. And unfortunately, society is making that her problem instead of society's, because she's super cool. Anyway, she's going to be sent to a summer camp to sort of help her conform, which, honestly, gross. But she quickly, accidentally stumbles upon the demon realm, the Boiling Isles, where magic is real, where demons and witches reside. Also, I should note, the demons in this are not like the demons in Demon Slayer. A lot of the demons in this are actually just really chill, really cool. They don't want to eat humans, so that's thumbs up. Anyway, she quickly becomes the student of the most powerful witch on the Boiling Isles, Ida Clawthorn, aka the Owl Lady, and quickly becomes great friends with, in quotation marks, the King of Demons, King. He's not, he is kind of the King of Demons. I'm not going to spoil what his backstory is, in case anyone hasn't seen it and would like to go check it out for themselves. Anyway, there's an evil human from way back, and he's super old and still alive, Emperor Belos. Oh, that dude he is evil. He is probably my least favorite guy going in fiction. Like, this dude, if I were to make a tier list video or a top 10 or whatever for my favorite villains in the sense of how effective a villain they are and how much I hate them, Balos would probably be number 1. This dude is evil. Evil to the core. He literally tries to commit a whole genocide on all magic-kind on the Boiling Isles. Fortunately, he fails because Luce, along with her friends Amity, Willow, Gus, and Hunter, as well as the Collector, and a few of the Boiling Isles Magic Coven heads, all sort of team up to take him down. Things do get pretty dire towards the end, as I'm not going to spoil what happens in the finale, but oh my gosh, it is so hype. Animation, all around, really solid. The characters, some of the most lovable I have ever seen. Voice acting top-notch, music top-notch. So many things about this show are just so amazing. Also, in the first episode of season 3, thanks to them, there is a scene that legitimately was the first scene I watched that made me cry. I had a lot of issues with suppressing my emotions for way too long. That's not important. What is important is that scene made me cry. No other scene before watching that from anything had ever done that. If you're an Owl House fan, you probably know which scene I'm talking about. That's in thanks to them. I also just find the characters so charming and relatable and awesome, and no amount of talking about it could ever do the Owl House justice. And I truly never thought I was going to come across another series that would ever top the Owl House. I thought I had witnessed the pinnacle of just stories for me personally. But then came number 1, Sleepless Domain. I'm gonna be honest, I've not made enough content about Sleepless Domain on this channel. I have made a couple reaction videos to fan works. I have also done some Zoe Bletcher comic dub lines. You should check those out. I absolutely adore voicing Zoe. She is such a little cinnamon roll of a character, and I love her. Anyway, Sleepless Domain is a magical girl webcomic created by Mary Cagle. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm so sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. AKA Cube Watermelon. It's one of those dark magical girl stories. If you've seen the anime Madoka, it pulls a lot of inspiration from that, actually. Like, I watched Madoka for the first time recently, and I was like, yeah, I can see the inspiration Sleepless Domain took from this. Anyway, though, Sleepless Domain follows the main protagonist, Undyne Wells, aka Alchemical Water, a magical girl who runs into a really unfortunate incident really early on in the story. I'm not going to spoil what that incident is, because if there's anyone who hasn't read Sleepless Domain yet watching this video who wants to, I don't want to spoil that, because, yeah, if you haven't read the comic, link will be in the description below. I could not recommend this comic enough. Seriously, go check it out. It is such a good read. Anyway, as she's sort of wandering aimlessly, trying to figure out what she's going to do about team-ups moving forward into the future, as magical girls have to patrol every night for 4 hours to ward off evil monsters from outside the outer barrier of the city. We don't know what the monsters are, what their deal is. All we know is there's an outer barrier, it goes down for 4 hours from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Magical girls have to patrol the city at night to protect all of the citizens. Fortunately, there's also an inner barrier that is created by another magical girl that goes up over all of the buildings, during that time, so it's significantly harder for the monsters to get into the civilians, like homes and buildings, and attack. It is possible for them to break holes through the inner barrier and get in, but it takes a significant amount of time, and usually magical girls will be able to get there on time, sense the danger, destroy the monster, so on and so forth. Undyne Wells finds herself all alone patrolling, looking for magical girls to team up with, and ends up teaming up with Kokoro Aichi, aka Heartful Punch. What a lovable goofball Kokoro is. Literally, Undyne, Kokoro, and Zoe, I cannot decide between those three, like, which one my favorite character. Okay, no, Zoe's probably my favorite character, but, like, they're all my favorite character. They're all so good in their own ways. Kokoro has some baggage of her own due to her origin story that I also will not spoil. I'm trying to dance around spoilers with this series is so hard, while also giving it like a really good review, because seriously, it is so good. I'll be talking much more about spoilers in like a full-on Sleepless Domain review video in the future, so look forward to that. Yeah, they sort of team up. They end up training a lot together. There's Yuri. I love it. I love it so much. But there is a mysterious magical girl who's given the nickname Goops. She's purple, she's goopy, but she seems to be devastatingly powerful, and also behind many attacks towards Undyne herself and her friends that she cherishes. That being said, later on in the series, Goops' angle feels like it shifts in a way that honestly I can't get a read on. We're currently 22 chapters and 8 pages into the series, and there's still much more to uncover as the series goes on. But Goops is a sinister threat, but I feel like she's got layers to her, and I cannot wait to see how this is going to pan out in the future. Truly one of the most mysterious villains out of all of the series that I've put on this list. And I think because of that, she just adds so much intrigue. Genuinely one of my favorite things to do currently is to just speculate about all of the possible things that could end up happening, not just with Goops, but with the whole story. It's too good. Seriously, go read it. Link in the description. It's peak. That's all I can say about it. And that, my friends, was my top 10/11 series tier list, not counting Sonic and Pokemon. This has been a video I've wanted to make for quite a while now, and I've alluded to it a few times in previous videos, so for anyone who is looking forward to this video, thank you so much for the patience. Also, if you made it this far in the video, seriously, thank you so much. I love to ramble about things that I really like, and I feel like I rambled quite a bit, given the fact that, of course, I'm going to have to trim some stuff down. I'm looking at the recording time, and it says that I've been doing this for 44.5 minutes. So, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope that you all enjoyed your stay at the Snowball Orchard today. I know I had a ton of fun with this one. If you haven't already, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Really helps the channel out, and I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!